It's been really brave of you to come here today because I know how difficult it can be. Grief is a normal and natural response when we suffer loss, and everybody is very, very different in how this happens. If you can hear purring in the background, this is my cat, Ocean, who's come to give you some warmth and comfort during this time. Everybody is different with their grief. We go through different stages, and that is okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to not understand really what's happened. First of all, the shock will set in, and I like to call it symptoms of grief. So what we'll do, we'll go through a few. So the symptoms of grief that you may be feeling, you may have lost your pet or is about to lose your pet. Either way, we often feel a bit of confusion, a bit of denial, and also the shock can set in. This is extremely difficult when we start to lose our animals or we've lost our animals. It can really, really shake you to the core, and this is a normal emotion to have. You can also feel anger and frustration and feel nervous and worried about what's to be or what's happened. You know, sometimes we just can't get our heads around it. The shock is so much for our system to take. It can be extremely difficult to cope with. Sometimes we despair and we lose hope. I mean, how can this happen? Why now? Why our pet? Again, these are all normal emotions to feel when we've lost our animals. Sometimes we feel anger towards other people as well around us. We want them to support us and have compassion, and perhaps they don't really understand what you're going through. It's very difficult for other people to understand because only you had that connection with your pet. And that connection is absolutely unique. One thing I always teach when I'm teaching about communication is when it's your own pet, only you can make decisions. And so you can struggle to find the meaning behind what's happened. You could be in disbelief. You feel emptiness, a feeling of hopeless and sadness. And you just have nothing left to give to other people. And it's worse when they don't seem to understand what you're going through, because it isn't just a dog, a horse, a cat. It could be a guinea pig, could be a rabbit, whatever the creature. But it was your dog, your cat, your horse, etc. And each one of them were individual. Each one had their own unique personality and their own connection with their carer, which in this case is you. We often feel very, very down. We feel guilt. We blame ourselves. We're regretful. And we often think that we should have done something more. And, you know, there must have been something you could do. In most cases, there's nothing you can do. When the time's up, the time's up. And something I have grown to understand over the years of communicating is that when their time is up, it's up. And it's all meant to be. One thing I can say is when animals pass to the spirit world, they pass very quickly. They do so with love and light, and are never in pain at the end. Normally they leave their bodies way before the time they pass. Sometimes this can be seen or felt by those who are observing the situation. Often the animals pass the actual body, which is a vessel. It's a shell of what the soul is in. And so for that, animals don't really pass away forever. They transition into what we call spirit body. They transition to spirit. They've never left us. They're always around us. Now, we may feel loneliness, feelings of being alone and isolated, but these animals are still around us. They're not in the physical form as we've always known them, but they are now in a spiritual form, meaning they are absolutely fine in spirit. I understand it's very difficult because you feel powerless. You feel that you can't do anything, you have no control of what's happening. But you will get through it. But it takes time. And it's not because you're weak or you can't deal with this. You may have to grieve for longer than other people. Some people grieve for 3 days, other people grieve for 3 weeks, maybe even 3 months. Some people for years. And that's fine. It's absolutely fine. Everybody is different. You have to go at your own pace. You have to be gentle with your soul. Do things that make you happy. Try and concentrate on those things that your animal made you happy. The little things that made you laugh. The little things that made you laugh. The things you enjoyed doing together. I understand it may be difficult to start with, concentrating on what these things were, but you will get better. If you can, find the photos out, your favourite photos, make a collage, write about them. Writing is very therapeutic. Remember, you're not responsible for the loss. You were blessed with that animal's presence. You were blessed to be able to share the life you had together. You were blessed to know them. You are not alone in this. It might be wise to join maybe some pet loss groups. Go onto Facebook. There's plenty of groups that deal with pet loss on Facebook. Share your experience. But you do what's right for you. Take it easy and don't do too much too soon. If you need to cry, you need to cry. Sometimes it can be very difficult to sleep. You might start feeling very weak. You have a pounding heart. You might even get headaches and stomach aches. Or be easily shaken by everyday things such as sights and sounds, particularly those that remind you of loss. This is common too. You are not alone. You're not being punished. This is normal, and I understand it can really test your prayer and spiritual beliefs. But everything will become clear once you allow yourself to grieve. So take time. If you need to cry, you need to cry. If you need to talk to someone, please do. You can reach out to me if you want to email me and tell me about your animal. As I said, writing makes things easier. My email address is below this video. Feel free to share their story with me. Try and celebrate the life that you had the pleasure to know. Perhaps plant a tree or a bush or a flower bush that will bring you some comfort in the coming weeks and months. Something you can watch grow. Have something tangible. One thing I would always say is don't blame yourself. No matter what happened, it's not your fault. When animals pass to spirit, they pass for a reason, as in it is their time, and there's nothing you could have done or said that would have changed this situation. One of the most popular questions I get asked as a communicator is, do animals return? Is reincarnation real? Well, the truth of the answer is yes, they can, but the most common situation is after passing, you may either sense the animal, you might feel them, you might even smell them. This is very common in the first few months of the passing, and this is what you will likely to experience. Animals never leave us. As I said before, they only transition into their spiritual body from their physical. We grieve and we find it most difficult because we cannot hold, touch and cuddle those physical attributes. Yet the animals are a whisker away. They truly are. They've only transitioned into a spiritual body, meaning they're still around you, they're just not in the physical. So celebrate the fact you were able to have that relationship with that animal. They are true gifts for us, and we should really be ecstatic that we shared such a beautiful life with them. So allow yourself to grieve, be kind to your soul, and I hope that you will be feeling better very, very soon. And just remember, you had and shared something very, very special indeed. You might also find it's very useful to share your experience. Just like my followers on Facebook did, I created a book called Pause from the Past. It's available on Amazon and all proceeds go to animal charities. This is where they share their experience of passing of their pets, how it felt and how beautiful their pets were. And sometimes we can relate, so you may want to check this out. I will also put some useful information below of places you can contact if you're still struggling with grief. But just remember, I am here for you. Please contact me. I will always answer my messages, and I wish you all the best and hope and pray that you find comfort and closure very soon. Take care. God bless.